In the theater of modern existence, we have witnessed the most extraordinary inversion in human history. The wise are silenced, while the foolish are amplified. The thoughtful retreat into shadows, while the shallow command the stage. This is not mere coincidence. It is systematic architecture. What you are about to discover challenges the fundamental assumptions of our age. We live in an era that has weaponized ignorance, transformed mediocrity into virtue, and made wisdom itself a form of rebellion. The ancient Greeks had a word for this phenomenon, kakistocracy, rule by the worst among us. This inversion operates through psychological mechanisms so subtle, so embedded in our daily rituals, that we mistake them for natural law. But tonight, we pierce the veil. We examine how modern systems actively reward intellectual poverty while punishing depth. We explore why complexity terrifies the masses and why simplicity sells souls. Prepare yourself for discomfort. Truth is not a gentle companion. The algorithm of attention. The first principle, what captures attention commands reality. In our hyperconnected age, the human mind has become a battlefield where the loudest voice wins, regardless of its wisdom. The psychology is primal. Our ancient brains evolved to prioritize immediate threats over abstract truths. A scream in the night demanded instant response. Philosophical contemplation could wait until safety was secured. Modern media exploits this evolutionary residue, flooding consciousness with artificial urgency. Consider the tale of the village storyteller who discovered that tales of virtue attracted few listeners, while stories of scandal drew crowds. Gradually, he abandoned wisdom for sensation. The village grew entertained, but spiritually impoverished, mistaking noise for knowledge. Today's digital platforms operate on identical principles. Algorithms reward engagement over enlightenment. The nuanced analysis receives dozen views. The outrageous opinion garners millions. We have built machines that systematically elevate the trivial while burying the profound. Practical arsenal. Question what demands your immediate attention. The urgent is rarely important. The important is rarely urgent. Complexity is the enemy of the lazy mind. The comfort trap. Second principle, systems that eliminate struggle eliminate growth. Modern life promises ease at every turn, yet this very promise becomes our intellectual prison. When survival required constant adaptation, human intelligence remained sharp. Comfort breeds complacency. The mind, like muscle, atrophies without resistance. Our ancestors faced physical challenges. We face the more insidious challenge of intellectual entropy. An ancient parable speaks of a king who built his subjects a paradise where every need was met without effort. Within a generation, his people had lost the ability to think, create, or solve problems. They became children in adult bodies, dependent on systems they could no longer understand or maintain. Our modern conveniences, GPS that eliminates navigation skills, calculators that replace mental math, social media that curates our thoughts, create similar dependencies. We outsource cognition to machines and wonder why wisdom withers. Practical arsenal. Deliberately choose difficulty. Read books that challenge you. Engage with ideas that disturb your assumptions. The blade grows sharp against the stone, never against silk. The validation machine. Third principle, external approval becomes internal compass. When societies prioritize popularity over truth, they create psychological slaves who mistake applause for achievement. The human need for belonging runs deeper than logic. We are tribal creatures who evolved to align with group thinking for survival. But modern systems have perverted this instinct, creating artificial tribes based on shared ignorance rather than shared wisdom. There once was a scholar whose profound insights attracted only criticism and isolation. Gradually, he began moderating his thoughts, softening his truths, until his words became palatable to the masses. He gained followers, but lost his soul. The very insights that made him valuable disappeared in his desperate reach for acceptance. Social media platforms function as modern coliseums where ideas compete not for truth, but for likes, shares, comments. The most profound insights often generate the least engagement because they require contemplation, while shallow provocations spread like wildfire through networks hungry for immediate gratification. Practical arsenal: measure ideas by their truth, not their popularity. The crowd is wrong more often than it is right. The authority inversion. Fourth principle: when expertise becomes suspect, ignorance masquerades as wisdom. Democratic ideals, perverted, suggest all opinions hold equal weight, a dangerous delusion. This inversion stems from a legitimate human suspicion of concentrated power. Yet it throws away millennia of accumulated knowledge with the bathwater of corrupt authority. The result: a culture where the uninformed feel qualified to dismiss the informed, where years of study count for less than minutes of internet research. Legend tells of a city that, in rejecting corrupt philosophers, also banished philosophy itself. Soon, citizens made crucial decisions based on impulse and emotion. The city descended into chaos, not because they lacked leaders, but because they had forgotten how to think. Today, we witness this pattern everywhere. Medical expertise questioned by internet researchers, scientific consensus challenged by social media influencers, historical scholarship dismissed by ideological tribes. The democratization of information become the weaponization of ignorance. Practical arsenal: distinguish between healthy skepticism and willful ignorance. Question authority, but do not abandon the pursuit of expertise. We have examined how modern systems systematically devalue wisdom, but these are merely the surface mechanisms. The deeper currents run through the human psyche itself, ancient vulnerabilities that our age has learned to exploit with surgical precision. What follows ventures into more dangerous territory. The psychological infrastructure that makes these inversions possible. These insights cut deeper, revealing not just what is happening, but why we allow it to continue. The paradox of choice. Advanced principle: unlimited options create paralyzed minds. The modern world offers infinite possibilities while systematically destroying our capacity to choose wisely between them. This paradox exploits our cognitive architecture. The human brain evolved to make decisions within limited contexts: which berry to eat, which path to take, which mate to choose. Presented with thousands of options, our decision-making apparatus overloads and defaults to the most immediate or familiar choice. Consider the ancient merchant who, traveling between two cities, could choose wisely between three possible routes. But when a new age brought him maps showing hundreds of paths, he spent so long deliberating that he never departed. Choice became his prison. Modern consumer culture operates through this principle. Infinite entertainment options create boredom. Unlimited information sources generate ignorance. Countless career paths produce purposelessness. We become decision paralyzed. defaulting to whatever algorithm recommends or whatever requires the least cognitive effort. Practical arsenal: impose artificial constraints. Limit your options deliberately to force deeper engagement with fewer choices. In the labyrinth of infinite paths, the wise choose one direction and walk with conviction. The scarcity illusion. Advanced principle: perceived scarcity drives irrational behavior. Modern systems create artificial urgency to bypass rational thought processes. This mechanism exploits our evolutionary programming for resource competition. In prehistoric environments, genuine scarcity threatened survival. Quick decisions often meant the difference between life and death. Modern marketers of products, ideas, and ideologies manufacture false scarcity to trigger these ancient responses. A master manipulator once gathered crowds by announcing that his wisdom would only be shared once, then never again. Though his teachings were commonplace, the artificial scarcity created desperate listeners who valued his words precisely because they believed them fleeting. Social media creates perpetual scarcity, trending topics that disappear, limited time offers, viral moments that demand immediate attention. News cycles manufacture crisis after crisis, keeping minds in permanent emergency mode where deep thinking becomes impossible. Practical arsenal: recognize artificial urgency. Ask yourself, what terrible thing happens if I wait to respond? Usually, nothing. The silence advantage. Advanced principle: in a world of constant noise, silence becomes power. While others exhaust themselves in endless chatter, the wise conserve energy for moments that matter. This principle inverts the modern assumption that visibility equals value. Our age rewards those who speak constantly, post frequently, have opinions about everything. But this creates a landscape of mental exhaustion where signal drowns in noise. There lived a counselor renowned for her wisdom, though she spoke less in a year than others spoke in a day. Her words carried weight precisely because they were rare. When she finally spoke, rooms fell silent and minds opened. Her scarcity had created reverence. The constant communication demanded by modern life depletes our mental resources and diminishes the impact of our ideas. Every thought immediately expressed loses the power it might have gained through reflection and refinement. Practical arsenal: practice strategic silence. Let others fill the void with noise while you accumulate power through restraint. The empty cup receives, the full cup spills. The tension mastery. Advanced principle: comfort with discomfort creates unshakable strength. While others flee from psychological tension, the wise embrace it as their forge. Most humans organize their lives around tension avoidance, seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, eliminating uncertainty. This creates predictable weakness that sophisticated systems can exploit. Those who learn to dance with discomfort become immune to these manipulations. A warrior monk was asked how he maintained peace amid chaos. He replied, "I do not seek to eliminate the storm. I learn to find stillness at its center." His strength came not from avoiding difficulty, but from developing intimacy with it. Modern life offers countless escapes from tension: entertainment, substances, distractions, ideological certainties. Each escape weakens our capacity to sit with difficult truths, to think complex thoughts, to navigate genuine uncertainty. Practical arsenal: seek out intellectual discomfort deliberately. Read authors you disagree with. Question your deepest assumptions. Build tension tolerance. We have journeyed through the mechanisms by which modern civilization systematically exalts stupidity over wisdom. The attention economy rewards noise over signal. Comfort systems atrophy our intellectual muscles. Validation machines redirect our internal compass toward external approval. Choice paralysis prevents decisive action. Artificial scarcity hijacks ancient survival instincts. Constant communication depletes mental resources. These are not accidents. They are features of systems that profit from intellectual poverty. Yet knowledge without wisdom becomes mere data. Wisdom without action becomes mere philosophy. Understanding these mechanisms grants you power, but power without ethical foundation becomes tyranny, even self-tyranny. Use this knowledge as a blade, sharp enough to cut through deception, but disciplined enough never to harm the innocent. The goal is not to manipulate others, but to free yourself from manipulation. Not to exploit these patterns, but to transcend them. In the comment below, tell me, which of these insights penetrated deepest into your awareness, and why did it resonate? Your reflection helps not only your own integration, but guides others along this path of forbidden knowledge. Subscribe to continue this exploration of humanity's hidden psychological architecture. Together, we illuminate the shadows where wisdom hides. Like this video to help spread this dangerous knowledge to those ready to receive it. The sleeping masses will reject these truths, but the awakening few will find in them the keys to intellectual sovereignty. Remember, in a world that exalts stupidity, wisdom itself becomes rebellion. Choose your rebellion wisely.